Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Boston Ujima Project, for inviting me to participate as a workshop facilitator. I'm super in love with the project that is Boston Ujima. So I'm super excited to be here. Thank you also to everyone that's here because it's late and this is really beautiful to be in your presence. Bueno, super quick. This is the art of writing proposals. The first thing I want to do is thank you all, not only for being here, but because you insist in participating in the beautification and also the pushbacks and also the aesthetics of the present through arts, culture, community organizing, and leadership. So, thank you so much for insisting in that. Just so you know, super quick, this information, I'm not the owner of the information, I'm just a messenger of the information. But it also exists in different kinds of ¿verdad? Participation and also levels. You will have access to this slide deck, so you can go back and check it out and ask questions if you want to, and ask for the services if you want to. In the chat, I believe there was a prompt of information that you can share so that we can follow your work and follow you and check your awesome work and also support you in the ways that we can. Super quickly, to Poetry's Busy Studio, the place that I work in, and myself. It is very important that we recognize the space that we are at, especially now that it's being so in such a difficult moment to be in relationship with. Um, it is important that we recognize the many legacies of displacement, violence, and difficultness that brings us here, and that we celebrate and that we also recognize the first inhabitants of this space and also bring conversations forward of the people that have contributed to build what we have today and what we enjoy, ¿verdad? In the present moment. Super quickly, these community agreements, one that I'm going to highlight because it is really important at this very moment, ¿verdad? In this political climate, is choosing kindness. We are going to have a really brief moment to be together in a breakout room, and we are going to be, ¿verdad? Talking about some really brief topic. Pero it is super, super important that we choose kindness in the way that we communicate so that the relationship building is stronger every day. It is very difficult times. So the more that we choose gentleness, the better that we secure relationships will last through time. Super quick too. Even though that I wish I had the means or the possibility of making everyone access the resources that are out there. We live in a system that, oh my God, every day pushes for more inequality and more distance and more everything. So I'm going to share what I've encountered and discovered and learned. And I hope and in hopes of that being of so nurturing to you, that it nurtures your skill sets and you can thrive with it in a way that it's that you can set up for yourself, because you literalmente are the magic and you do the magic. Um, I'm not gonna go through my bio because I'm gonna take too much time. It's in the slide deck. You can go, ¿verdad? After we finish, you will have access to the slide deck. The most important thing of this slide is that I'm a mother, poet, writer, educator, cultural worker, and I've had access to many different kinds of resources in the forms of fellowships, grants, and RFPs, que es request for proposals, que implies partnerships. So that is why I'm here with you sharing that knowledge. I work for and created Poetry's Busy Studio, and it's a place that puts at the forefront care practices in the arts and culture field through workshops, events, consulting in Spanish and in English. Right now, it's in English. It's late. I'm trying to translate a live translation. So, por favor, bear with me. If I say something que está mal traducido, that it's not the correct translation, pues mira, open the mic and let me know. I don't mind. Bueno, now we are gonna quickly go into breakout rooms, ¿verdad? We're gonna break out 3 people per room. And we are gonna quickly, in 2 minutes, share, 2 minutes each person, share what words you associate with money. This can be any type of word. Please be mindful, ¿verdad? Of language when you're in the room because we don't know, ¿verdad? Who we're gonna be with. Remember, be gentle, be kind. And what do you find most challenging when seeking financing for your art projects or artistic practice, or organization efforts, or communal efforts, or any other types of project development that you're doing? You can share that information. Now, I'm going to stop sharing because I believe you are going to go to the breakout rooms. And if I'm not mistaken, Mary, or maybe Camaria,
Yes, I can open them right now.
you will go to the breakout rooms and we will share again the prompts. What words do you associate with money? And what do you find most challenging when seeking financing for your art projects or artistic practice? Remember, you have 2 minutes each person. And please, somebody volunteers for the timekeeping so that everyone can participate. Okay. If right now you are not able to unmute and you wanna do the gift of giving that time to the rest of the group, pues you are invited to do so. Hola, hola. Okay, so super quickly and not everyone at the same time, obviously, ¿verdad? Pero one person, por favor, on mute and tell me, how did this exercise make you feel? Sencillo, easy. Boom. Please, not everyone.
Supportive.
Ajá. Espérate, who's speaking?
Kara Mark.
Hola. Okay, say that again.
Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Qué fue?
Saluda.
The room that I was in was very supportive.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was what I wanted to hear. And I hope everyone had same or similar experience. Where am I? Wait a second. This is not where we're supposed to be. Espérate, vamos para allá. Ay, Dios mío, espérate. Es que no matter how much time you're in the Zoom world, no hay manera de make it great de una. So sorry about that. Okay, so now we are going to get really into a deep dive de how, ¿verdad? The mechanics behind proposal writing. And I say proposal writing because it does not only work for grants, it works for many other opportunities that you may find around. And one of the things that is most important, mira, listen, you don't have to do this and write it rápido. I'm gonna go super rápido, like running, bien turbo, pero you are gonna have access to the slides. So you can go back how many times you want and just study cantito a cantito. And I'm not sure if the recording is gonna be available to you, but I'm sure that you can talk to the people from Ujima, either Camaria or Mary or Sierra or um, to have availability to the recording. Okay, so getting ready. Cloud folders. Cloud is un space in the digital, ¿verdad? Realm where your documents live. Some of those cloud services or systems are free, and I hope that you can find one that serves you. And I hope that you don't go to the evil ones, pero, ¿verdad? If you can, avoid them. Pero some of them are paid systems. The good thing about a cloud system is that you don't have the whatever it is that you produce or you have stored in your computer. You can have it elsewhere and you can access it in any device, not only your computer or your phone or your tablet, if you have one. Entonces, in the cloud, you will have, ¿verdad? Hopefully, two folders. Those folders, folder number one, will be for proposal specific documents. And then folder number two would be for recurring documents. Entonces, in folder number one, it is recommended, ¿verdad? Que you have at least the document where you have the proposal that you are aiming for. And when I say proposal, I mean you go to where the proposal, where you submit the proposal, you copy all the information, you paste it into the document, and you write it there. And you have it there, and you copy paste it back to the. It sounds like a lot, pero mi amor, you don't want to be in the right there writing in the submittal space and your computer shutting down or whatever, the internet just choppy, and then your information just goes away. So you want it stored elsewhere so you can copy paste it and you can edit it. Also, you will have a budget spreadsheet. I'm gonna do a pause super quickly because I am super turbo with this information. It is a lot of information. If you have questions or comments along the way, por favor, write them down in the chat and I will address them either at the end or later on. If I have access to them, I can write them ¿verdad? Un email or something and answer your question. Don't be discouraged by me running with the information. Además del document, o sea, as well as the document, you will have a spreadsheet, a budget spreadsheet. And this spreadsheet will have information for you to understand the financial reality of the project, of the proposal that you're doing. This is not necessarily what you will submit anywhere. It's for you to have an understanding of the whole picture. In folder number 2, you will have several different things that you can use for what it's in folder number 1 or for any other opportunity because those things don't change. Y son short, medium, or large, jeje, biography. Un short bio is recommended, pero you can have an accordion of biographies, ¿verdad? Y eso también es recommended. If you are Spanish speaker or any other language speaker, you can have also translations of your biography so you can access to the ¿verdad? Demographics that you have connections with. You can also, you should, ¿verdad? You can also have, it's an invitation, not an imposition. You can also have an artist statement that it's different from a biography. Biography is what you made, what you have done, this and that, the places you've been. Un artist statement is who you are as an artist, who you are as a critical thinker or as a cultural worker. Like who are you? What are the things that rock your world? And what are the things that you are in connection with and aligned with? And also, what do you do? Because that also is information that is important to know. Um, Entonces, recommended letters of support or memorandums of understanding. And those two things are not legal documents, but are documents that state the relationship with collaborators, partners, colleagues, or any of the like. Even venues, por ejemplo, if they don't have contracts or something like that, if you are not going to pay for a place, usually you can do a memorandum of understanding so that you understand what the relationship will be, because these are your ideas and your, ¿verdad? Your projects or programs or any other kind of idea that you have. It is very important that you clearly state what are the things that you're expecting and what things can be expected of you, because rest assured that you are going to do something so yummy and so delicious that everyone will want a piece, a bite, and the copyrights of it. And so you want to protect your thing. And if you want to share those copyrights, pues que let it, ¿verdad? Clearly stated. Entonces, documentation, and we are going to go to that really soon, porque we are going to stop in that information in a little bit. Bueno, as I told you, the first folder should have the document and what should be ideally in that document. What are the things that should be there? Aside from copying and pasting the literal submittal form, you can start by answering these questions: the what, the who, the where, the when, and the why. Las 5 Ws del journalism. They work wonders. This slide is full of information. Again, you will have access to it, and we will do an exercise related to this one. So I'm gonna move on. Don't be discouraged, por favor, porque we are going to return to it. One of the things that is most important in this slide, aside from the technical parts of it, that where is it gonna be, when, at what time of the day, who is it gonna participate, is success. And we are going to go to that too in a bit. Bueno, remember that the second folder that I said photos, videos, PDFs, and I said, let's run, because we had this slide. Okay, very, very specifically, if you can, archiving is the best thing you can do for your future self, because you're setting yourself up for what? Success. When you have your videos and your photos of yourself doing what you do best and what you have done through time, the don't get fixated on the quality of those documentation, either photos or videos. The important thing is that they are documenting whatever it is that you are, ¿verdad?, offering. Pero, por favor, from now on, think about when you do the spreadsheet of the financial reality of your project, you will have a line that says documentation. And from now on, you will start watching con más, ¿verdad? Como que, I like this person, how they photograph. Have connection with photograph, con fotógrafo y con videógrafo, because that is what speaks about your work when you are not there. So the better possibilities of, ¿verdad?, that information getting to the right people that will eventually support your work. It's important that the ones you choose shed light on the thing that you're proposing. Entonces, if you have had press coverage, ¿verdad?, a journalist, some friend that happens to have a blog that it's very viral, or local newspapers or magazines, anything that you have, please have it documented in PDF, because that is super beautiful information that you can give in supporting materials, because sometimes there are opportunities that you can support yourself by saying, mira, this is who I am, like this is what I've done already, so yeah, like support me y ya está, don't ask so many questions. Anyways, and el resumen o el CV, as much as you can, this is super difficult because we do so many things in such a, tú sabes, short period of time. Pero as much as you can, try to have those two documents. A resume is a tinier, more direct, and very specific account of your work. And a CV is a super huge, long account of a lot of things that you've done in your work life. They look similar, but are not. And you will be at a moment where randomly you will receive an email that says, congratulations, you are being nominated for this fellowship. And usually fellowships are associated with money, very specifically, when with low activities, sometimes they are high activities, ¿verdad? You have to do stuff. Pero if that moment comes, usually you have to hand in the CV, que it's the longer one. And usually you have to compete, which I really, really hate. Pero, pues, it's the way this country works. So, have it up to date as much as you can y déjalo ahí in the second folder. The documentation, super quickly, 1 to 2 headshots. If you don't have them, ask around who can do that for you and your community, or what organization can support a session of headshots. And that is a nice thing to have. 1 to 4 working or performing or facilitating photographs of yourself or your artwork or your work organizing. For videos, please, 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 if you have passwords, share them when you are sharing those videos, porque si no, pues the panelists cannot go in. And also, please, 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 please be aware of the guidelines, because the information around time, the allowed time, and the amount of materials that you have to hand in differs, pero del cielo a la tierra. I don't know how to translate that at this time. So, pero es dramatic. And press have them in PDF form so that you can add them if required or if you have the chance. Timeline for your work. It's important to separate ¿verdad? The different stages of what you're doing, because for each of them, you can find different kinds of support. And one of the most difficult things is to understand that the idea and design part, that is the one that when you are washing the dishes, at least that's what happens to me when you're washing the dishes, the idea just hits you and you start right there while washing the dishes, start editing and, moving things around and this and that. That time just goes down the drain because you don't account for it. Pero once you become aware of the moments that you are into the design and idea period, you can account for that and then look for the resources for the next idea for you to have. If it's 5 hours, then have 5 hours well resourced. Bueno, súper rápido. Dios mío, I'm so sorry that I'm so fast, pero I want to get to the end. One of the most difficult things about bringing any idea into the material, ¿verdad? Materialization, is to think about its success. Where are people gonna be? Like, where are you gonna be? Where are things gonna be? Are they gonna shift? Are they gonna be a lot of people? Is there gonna be just one attendee or participant? Are you gonna have a lot of collaborators or little? And in the moment of creativity buoyancy, ¿verdad? Que es while you're imagining, envisioning that success, go wild, go wild. Think about it really, really deeply. And then after you go wild, think how can that be, pero un poquito, ¿verdad? Because how much will you need for that huge, ambitious idea? And then think about another scenario, less ambitious and flamboyant. Porque, ¿verdad? It has to be flamboyant o nada. Entonces, the less flamboyant one. It's like, bueno, okay. And you're going to think also of a third one, que es un poquito, ¿verdad? Tiene un sliver de flamboyancy, pero is way less flamboyant, pero in none of those, you don't get paid. In none of those, no one, I don't know how to say this correctly, pero in all of them, everyone gets paid. Different amounts, pero everyone gets paid. So what we are not going to even, no, it's not, no. It's the one that you are 100% financing the whole thing, and you're giving all of it in kind, your time, your resources, your everything, your family members, everything. ¿Ok? Ahora, déjame ver qué hora es, espérate. ¡Ah! ¡Ay! Hola. Sí, yo sé, es mucho. It's a lot. Bueno, pero how do we do that? ¿Verdad? Porque we are experts in doing amazing things and magic with cero, and that is never true. You are always doing it with your own finances, okay? You are the person financing the whole thing, usually. Así que, ahora vamos a hacer un ejercicio. So now we are going to do an exercise of thinking un poquito más deeply into the tiny, tiny bits and pieces of the reason that you are here right now at this very special and beautiful workshop. Think about that idea that brought you here and try to answer all of these questions. Now, we are going to do 3 different slides that ask very different questions, pero related. Y we're gonna spend, mira, because I'm generous today, ¿verdad? Porque things are really hard lately. Así que I'm feeling nice. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes each. 2 minutes porque no hay mucho tiempo, and then we won't have time for questions. So in 2 minutes, you can write down, you can do any material thing that can remind you later of the answers to these questions, but it doesn't have to be writing necessarily. You can scribble if that works for you, ¿verdad? In answering these questions. You can actually do lists, mind maps, vision board. Bueno, vision board es un poquito, ¿verdad? Ambitious for right now, 2 minutes. Pero eventually, you can do the exercise of vision boarding? No, doing a vision board. And that will help you because whatever you write down as a proposal will change through time and also will grow as it wants to. And this will help you to breathe. This will help your project breathe as much as it needs to, ¿verdad? Porque it's not only one thing that probably will need to be accessed to make it real. Bueno, okay, so I'm gonna put the timer and you are gonna look for, ¿verdad? Writing thing, you can write it down, lo que sea. Pero in 2 minutes, try to answer. Where does the idea come from? ¿Verdad? Is it something that you've noticed? Is it questions that you have? Is it interactions that you have come upon to? I don't know if that's correct. Where does it come from? Is it research, hardcore research that you have been doing for years and years and years, and you're like, meta, hello? Or is it new sparks that are just like, and you wanna, ¿verdad? Nurture that. What is inspiring you to do this work? What, who, is it a place? Is it a texture? Is it something that you want to bring out into the world because you have been gathering it through time? Is it a space for visibility of the thing you're thinking or your own practice or the community that you want to uplift. Bueno, me callo la boca. I'm going to shut up now, ¿verdad? And I'm going to give you the 2 minutes. And I'm going to unmute as soon as the 2 minutes stop. Bueno, is everyone chévere? Unless somebody unmutes and say no, we're going to start the 2 minutes, okay? 3, 2, 1, y go and answer the questions. Pues, eh. Now, número 2, ahora para la próxima. 2 more minutes in this one. Now, this one you can also write a list or you can do any other thing that might remind you later on of the answers. It doesn't necessarily has to be writing down. You can do some illustrations or whatnot. Pero, importante, what are the artistic disciplines that you are going to address with this work? Or what are the cultural associations or cultural backgrounds that you are going to be addressing? It is important that you check the guidelines and, if possible, check out how they describe each genre. Sometimes there are genres that are shifting, that you may describe your work as one thing and the guideline just says it's another. Those things are important when there are opportunities that shift, that are either like 1 year and then the other, like 1 year they do ballet and this and that, and then the other year they're photography and this and that. So those things are super important to pay attention to. But also because it's easier for you to explain or describe whatever it is that you are proposing, because don't assume that the panelists know what you're talking about. Sometimes panelists are in other fields that does not have anything to do with yours, and so you want to be clear on what is it that you are proposing. Entonces, how much time are you planning to dedicate to this project? Time and efforts and materials, time commitments, space commitments are super important in this, that you can describe those accurately. Es bien importante, like for this slide, the 2 minutes, I will encourage you to say the names, the exact names of the materials that you're needing, the exact name of the place that you are aiming for, the specific name of the discipline that you are going to address. If there's a principal discipline, most of my work is multidisciplinary, so I really need to choose which one is the principal one. And that one will guide you, but the other ones will too guide you to different places, ¿verdad? So I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes and I'm gonna mute myself right now. Okay, everyone, come back from the writing prompt. And last but not least, super important, we are going to write in 2 minutes a description as much as we can, ¿verdad? How the results will be. Remember that I told you, how does success look like? ¿Cómo se ve eso? Like, let's try to write it down. And because you are that awesome, in 2 minutes, you will have it ready. Is it going to be in person, ¿verdad? Pero where very, very, very specifically? Is it a specific season, ¿verdad, of the year? and you want to do it because of X, Y, or Z. Is it gonna be online? Whatever you're thinking about, ¿verdad? But specifically where? Because Zoom is one thing, Twitch is another. And it requires different things from the audiences and different things from the text side of it. Um, how does it look like at the end of it? Is it something material? Is it intangible? Is it correctly how I pronounce it? Intangible. Um, is it going to be a permanent thing somewhere? And this one very specifically at this very moment where climate is doing what it has to, ¿verdad? To be able to say, mira, like I need some changes to happen. It's important to think about what will happen to my gift, ¿verdad? In art form if anything related to climate happens in the area, and what will happen to the people from the area, and what will happen to the thing, ¿verdad? And the place related to either changes in weather or changes in the thing. Um, how can we build embedded, ¿verdad? The maintenance plan. I don't know if that's the correct way to say it in English, but maintenance plan embedded into the design of the whole thing. Bueno, 2 minutos to describe it, and you are awesome, and you can do it at least the first sentence, because I know this is a very difficult thing to do. Bueno, 2 minutos. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, mis amores, everyone can, ¿verdad? Have a deep inhale, exhale, porque this can be a tough thing to do. To write down, the bits and pieces and the equation of your, ¿verdad? Idea and say it out loud. I'm sure that you have already done this in different ways, or maybe in a way that it's really, really, ¿verdad? Ya está bastante adelantado. I don't know how to translate that, pero trust that it's gonna be a beautiful thing, that it's gonna see the light. Before we finish, and I wanna, ¿verdad? Have space for questions and comments. Súper importante, pero súper importante when you share your ideas with the people that surround you, ¿verdad? Be it friends, colleagues, romantic partners, your kids, any family member, um, treat it as a gift when they react to that and they ask questions and they, push back on stuff. Don't fight it. Don't be defensive. If something is not, getting to where it's going, tú sabes, sit with it and think about it. Because in the end, who's gonna receive the prestige is you. And probably the money is you, if there is money involved, ¿verdad? Este, and they have spent time and effort and energy thinking about with you, ¿verdad? And listening to you. Probably you only are like, I try to whatever, whatever. And they're there. So think about it and think of ways to giving back that time and energy. And remember that malleability is key. One of the things that is most important is that you are not going to be there to defend your project or yourself when it's being reviewed, ¿verdad? There will be a panel that you don't know who they are, And even if they know you, they have to recuse so they can, ¿verdad? Porque ethically. So you want to be as clear as you can with the information that you're putting forward. Y además, believe in yourself. The system is unequal. It does not have anything to do with the quality of the work that you do and what you dedicate your life to. Now, questions. Super quickly, I'm going to go to the next two slides because I'm going to stop sharing to answer the questions. First, there is a feedback form that I would love for everyone, including Ujima, would fill out because that helps me so much with adapting and reconfiguring this information that it's called workshop for everyone and the future. And if you wanna, ¿verdad? Keep on engaging with me or Poetry's VC Studio, we are awesome people. I'm here in Massachusetts. There is another person in Texas, and there is another one in Puerto Rico. So we are everywhere. Eh, we also do content in Spanish. So si cualquiera de ustedes quiere, nos llama y jangueamos. Y thank you so much, porque wow, de verdad que es de bravo. It's for tough people to insist in doing this work. And tú sabes, providing the ease and the beauty that we so desperately need and that you produce. Bueno, no me diga, ah, perfecto, Ave María. Just right on time. I stopped sharing and I want to listen. You can unmute your videos too so that I can see you if you want to. Pero si no, no, it's too late. También no tienen que. So I do want to listen to your questions. If you have any question. Not everyone at the same time, por favor.
I have a question.
Tira.
Um,
Who's talking? Who's speaking?
Yara,
Hola, Sierra.
hi. I think one thing that I struggle with is like whether or not to like simplify and make it super basic or use all the art language in the world and like make it seem more official. So how do you balance that?
Pues mira, number one, I think it depends on the opportunity. Some opportunities will allow and encourage that you are verbose and that you get very technical. ¿Qué sé yo? I'm thinking about, for example, Creative Capital. Creative Capital has this really yummy grant that it's $50,000. It's for 5 years. Don't get, ¿verdad? You can't get too excited, pero 50,000. So it implies that the type of project that you're gonna do is super, ¿verdad? Ambitious, and the type, if you go to the website and you check the information of other grants, the grants before, you will see that the vocabulary, it requires certain knowledge, very specific knowledge on the very specific discipline that is being supported. But then there are other opportunities that actually discourage that type of perspective. I don't know how to call it. And I would say that you try to be as clear as when you give that proposal to two people, different people that you trust and that you admire, ¿verdad? Porque that is super important. Because everyone has opinions, pero people that you admire and that you want to hear what they have to say, that both can understand fully what you're trying to, ¿verdad?, get across. If there are too much questions or whatnot, pues sit a little bit with the paragraph or the narrative, and tú sabes, work on it to the point where both can fluently read it and react the way that you are, ¿verdad?, that you are expecting. Es difícil, Sierra. Es bien difícil. It's difficult. That's why I would encourage everyone to go to the slide when you have the slides available, ¿verdad? That you go to the slide that is just one slide that has the questions and answer them one by one, pam, 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 and then sit with that. And then just spread it out and put it back in. And tú sabes, juega con eso, play with that. Because if you answer those things, everything will be answered. ¿Verdad? Hopefully. Ideas get really beautifully complicated and complex, and that's why they are ideas, because they have that, ¿verdad?, in. Pero for people to support them, it needs to be super simple so that people can grab that simplicity and go, ¿verdad?, and support that. Porque si no, muy niche como Creative Capital, que es casi, casi niche. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that's super helpful. That's super helpful. I think when I was younger, I used to try to make things so complicated, and that cost me a lot.
Yo también, Sierra, yo también. And I'm a poet. So if there are poets in the room, I have super good news for you. And it's most of the greatest grant writers that I know, most of them, if not all, are poets, because we have a way of interacting with words that we can guide those, that intention to, tú sabes, try to look for what we need. Isaura,
Querida hermana.
qué alegría que estás aquí.
Oh,
I'm so
I'm
happy you're
sorry. I,
here.
I double booked myself. I had a meeting with the Puff Skirt, and then we are passionate. We could not leave, but I have to come here.
Gracias por estar aquí. Thank you for being here and for coming. I thought you were not coming. I was like,
No, I was like, I hope we can have more. But hi, everybody. Hi, what's your name? I don't have my glass. Yeah, Isori. So sorry, I don't have my glass. Okay, I don't want to interrupt. But
Ay, pero gracias por estar aquí. Yo pensaba que ibas a hacer una pregunta.
Welcome and thank you for being here. I'm gonna
thank
do
you.
like a little question stack because I don't want us to get lost. So Ishoni, I'm gonna invite you to speak your question out loud if you feel comfortable with that. And then afterwards, Diva, I'm gonna ask you to come in next.
I don't have a problem with that. I do want to say one thing to you, Yara. I was just filling out your survey, and there's a specific part where it's asking, actually, I'm going to just paste it because I was like, I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. I can't choose great for all of it, so just know that I have to choose not great, and I didn't like that because I didn't feel that way
Oh,
to submit it. This specific, how satisfied were you with the session content? You should just know I couldn't choose great, great, great all the way down for some
thank
reason.
you for letting me know. I'm like, oh.
I feel put on the spot, but I will rise to the occasion and speak this question. I've not been paying attention to the chat, so just forgive me. I'm going to scroll up. Am I funding multiple projects, or am I trying to fund one kind of project, or am I tailoring my projects to the funding that's available? And I feel like I know the answer, but I do kind of want your perspective on that, just because the way that I approach artist funding sometimes, I feel like I'm trying to tailor it to the funding that's available just to support myself financially, as opposed to like, oh, I have an idea and I want to go find funding for it, which obviously I could do that. It's just not the way that I necessarily approach it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there and say
Pues
yours.
mira, the answer is multiple, ¿verdad? It depends. It depends. So, sometimes you have an idea that finds the alignment with an opportunity, that it's serendipity. You're like, oh my God, it's perfect. When you read the guidelines, you're like, oh my God, this is perfect for this opportunity. Sometimes you already have something that you're working on, and it's pretty advanced in the way that it's either created or the idea is really, really mature. And you need more than one resource, ¿verdad? More than one income or more than one support. And then, like, usually it depends, and there's no one right way. Like, so in this workshop, there is a part of it que I don't want to give too much information because there is a conversation with Ujima. Pero there is a part that concentrates in or focuses in budgeting. And so when you get to the budgeting part, you will notice that the narrative will point you towards the different ways you can finance whatever it is that the idea is, ¿verdad? Encouraging or promoting or whatever it is. So it depends. The only thing that I will say that I'm trying to, ¿verdad? Organize us is, mano, grant writing should be done collectively. Collectively. Like un group of people that gets together, y edits, ¿verdad? Collectively, and looks for resources and do the research collectively and searches for this and this and that, porque it's exhausting and it's never over. Grant season is never over. There are pockets of times, ¿verdad? During the whole year that more opportunities come because of internal stuff, bien technical stuff. Pero sponsors are everywhere. Philanthropies are year long. Um, Connections with small businesses or corporations. Bleh, I don't like those too much, pero some corporations are cool, not that many, pero some are cool, and maybe you can have some partnership. Tú sabes, it's a myriad. So it depends on where you are in the project, where you are in your career, like what is your capacity, ¿verdad? To literalmente sit down and write down the proposal. Pero good news, only good news, mis amores. Once you have that narrative written down, pues mi amor, that same narrative you adapt it depending on the opportunity. Because, okay, so some opportunities, if I wanted to do Poetry's Busy, que es un multidisciplinary event, ¿verdad? Many different artists come together one night, and I asked the city of Cambridge, al council, I asked them for support, ¿verdad? They give me support, pero they establish really clearly that they don't fund refreshments. And for Poetry's Busy, the series, that's very important, the refreshment. Hello. So I would have to go to La Fábrica Central to ask them for sponsorship for the, ¿verdad? Because pues, it's not that I'm not going to have refreshments. It's just that they're not going to pay for them. Other people are going to do that. So in your ideas, there will be the refreshments, ¿verdad? Here and there that some people will not fund, pero then others will. Este, so yeah, I hope I answered. Kamari, había otra. Were there
Yeah,
other?
we have Diva is up next.
Hello.
Hey,
Uh, poet in the room.
hey.
I have like a 10-car pileup of questions because I have so many and I'm trying to figure out what is important enough to ask right now. I feel like my biggest problem is that I have no idea how to advertise myself. And grant writing is very much that. Like I'm literally putting myself into document form and asking for money for it. And I just don't know how to do that. Like, all I can think of to say is, I have a bunch of feelings. Maybe other people care too. Give me money to write about them? Like,
Hello.
I feel like that's not compelling. Like,
Bueno, in these times, it actually should be. Porque de verdad que the challenges, Dios mío, each day, for us poets, it's a lot. Pero mira, okay, so advertising. Me neither. Me neither. I don't know how to do that. What do I do? Like literalmente, I don't. I would rather talk about whatever than myself. I'm like, no. I watch really closely my friends that do. I have other poet friends that are really skillful in the way they arrive at places, the way they speak about themselves, when do they speak about themselves, and I catch a little bit and I play with my level of comfortability and the way that I want to exist in the space. That's one thing. Another thing is I have people, I have surrounded myself, fortunately, ¿verdad? Déjame tocar madera, with people that does that work for me. When we are in spaces, usually I do como que this, and they're like, mira, so she tan. And I'm like, oh my God, shut up. And they're like, no. So translate that into the people that surround you that can speak about you and that can write it down so that you can see more clearly that in you are like kind of separated a little bit from yourself, and it's to manage the comfortability level. These people that surround you, please choose them carefully, that they really, really love you, ¿verdad? Y que no vayan a hacer chistes malos, like jokes that are not funny or something like that. Sino people that really care about you and understand the exercise, ¿verdad? Porque ideally this would be to search for support. I also would encourage you to search for fellowships because it sounds like poetry mixes and matches better con fellowships because those are usually for the person. Prices in poetry also. There are several different prices for poetry writing. And if you can transform any of your artwork, ¿verdad? Que in this case is poetry, into a project, ¿verdad? Que it's not only writing, but it's something other. And we can talk about it at another, ¿verdad? To, ¿verdad? Get deep into that. Pero if you can transform it into a project, that one is way easier to put into words, to articulate, and also to sell. So for example, if you are going to be using vinyl to um, take space through your verses in the city, and you will use vinyl to write in the storefronts, you know, verses that go through a whole, I don't know, a block, for example. Well, that is a project. That is a very specific thing. And it's your poetry, and it's your idea, and it's your, and probably you will meet with other colleagues to, you know, cut the vinyl and put it in the storefronts and have conversations with the store managers and this and that. So that is another way that you can, ¿verdad?, address the writing part. Es que, ay Dios, we should have a coffee or something. Porque so many things that right now I want to like give you so many references, como que mira, checate esto y checate esto, like check this out. There are so many poets here in Massachusetts that have done really, really awesome projects. Que maybe you should check out y como que, no sé, have conversations also with those things that are around. So yeah, pero there are many different prizes and fellowships that you can look at.
Okay.
Yara, I just dropped in the chat your sign up sheet for writing mentorship. So Yara has graciously agreed to support folks who are applying for ACO, the ACO Fellowship, and as well as the Micro Learning Pod, but also just like check in on your work and your writing and anything that's lingering from this workshop. So I dropped the link in here. You can sign up based on her schedule, and I hope y'all take advantage of that support because Yara's amazing. So I'll say that, and we're over time. We're at almost 8:45. I'm not sure if Yara, you have any more steam. And I guess we're all saying it's okay because everyone can have more time with Yara if they would like, and if she has the time available. But I really appreciate y'all. I thank you for coming here and being vulnerable with just like where you're at in this process. It's a practice, it's hard. People act like it's not, but it is. And I also just want to remind or let y'all know that we're going to have specifically for the ACO Fellowship and the Micro Learning Pod applications, we're going to have an info session coming up next Tuesday. So you can come join us, hear more about the criteria, the information, and we'll have way more time for question and answers for just those two offerings. We're also going to do a few more info sessions around town, so you'll see us. And yes, Yara, we would love it if you could come back to do a trauma-informed budget workshop for us. I will be in the front row. I need that help too. So I really appreciate you. I appreciate you all. And yeah, more soon. Thank you for being with us. And Yara.
Gracias un millón. Thank you so much. I want to see your work, so por favor, check the feedback and write down your information so that I can follow you. And I hope to see you in the next one. And I hope to see your friends in the next one too. Porque, ¿verdad? Aprovechar.